This
Okay.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So, guys, as I told, like I'm Vivek, I'm having 8 years of experience, and I worked in different domains as well, like in banking, e-commerce, oil and gas, and many other areas as well. And I have worked in different parts of the world, like in Middle East, UK, and in India as well. So I do have like global exposure as well as expertise in testing for different clients. So these are all my credentials about, and I do have like taken so many sessions for the corporate employees as well as to the public as well, as you guys have joined this call. So I do have vast experience in taking sessions, especially in automation as well as in manual testing as well. And my key core expertise is in manual testing, sorry, automation testing, and I do have like vast knowledge in manual testing as well since from the beginning of my career. So that is all about me, and I hope like I can get to know about each one of you as we progress further with the course. So I will brief you regarding the course objectives. I hope you would have already gone through the course objectives, but I will brief you regarding what is the course objectives and will give you an overall idea regarding what we will be doing. One thing that I would like to highlight is like at any point of time, if you guys have any doubts, just feel free to ask. And you can either post it in the chat or you can even directly ask me. Just feel free to stop me any point of time. Okay. So I hope my audio is loud and clear for you. Okay, thank you. So, thanks for responding, Aruna. So let's get started with the course objective. So, actually, we are running this course for quite some time, and from the past experience, we have like modified the course, and there are different objectives of it. So, as you can read through the screen, there are different objectives. But what I will tell you is like mostly the questions that we used to get around this course is one is like there would be people who really want to they need a job and to start their career with manual testing. So that would be one set of people who used to come for this course, and what we can do for them. So that is obviously one question that used to come, and especially when you see a manual tester or sorry, like a fresher who want to start a job in IT. One thing is like if you are a fresher who got passed out in recently, maybe like in 2022 or before. So what happens is like for you, the opportunities would be more. You would be able to start your career in many areas. But when it comes to someone who's like lacking experience and is not a fresher anymore, it's a bit difficult to get started or to get a job in IT. So one objective is to help the freshers the same way the people who were not able to yet to start the career in testing. So that is one objective actually. So for them, see, whenever you go for a job interview or for an IT sector job, the first thing that comes into picture is your communication skills. So that is the first thing that will get evaluated, because since you are a fresher and the first thing they would check is like whether you are having good communication. So when I say communication, it is not only about spoken English. Okay, there is much beyond that as well. So, for example, when I say communication means whether you are responding properly. Even your English might not be very good, but whether you are responding, trying to respond, whether you are whether you are able to communicate your thoughts properly. So all these are very important, and whether you are proactive as well, whether someone wants to have to push you or whether you will speak by yourself. So all these are very important. Other thing is the testing knowledge. So since you are attending a course, there is something that differentiate you from the other people who are someone like you who are trying to start a career in manual testing. So when you attend a testing course, the one thing is like you will get a knowledge basic understanding, so that any company that hire you don't want to start from the scratch. So what they can do is like they can make use of your knowledge already gained and then start making use of you. So that is another objective or like of attending this course, where you will get immense knowledge in manual testing. Okay, the other thing is like you should also have good reasoning power, You should be able to write test cases, create defect report, understand the efforts. Then also you should have understanding about different terminologies as well, like agile terminology, what is it means, like that. Okay, and also as part of this course, we would be covering an overall idea regarding different tools like Azure DevOps, Jira, etc. So all this will help you to grab a job as a fresher. Now, the obvious question that used to come in everybody's mind is like whether there is enough job opportunities for a manual tester. Okay, so you would see different courses running for automation, performance testing, API testing. So one guidance that I used to give to everyone is that, see, irrespective of all this, if you know something very thoroughly, then the chances of you getting job is more, rather than you knowing many things. So wherever you go, even it is testing or anything in IT, if you know something very thoroughly, the chance of you getting a job is also more. And when it comes to manual testing, a study shows from 2019 to 2029, there is almost 30 percentage of increase will happen every year for manual testing. So that is like more than any of the industrial standards when you compare any other industry. So obviously there is a huge potential for manual testing, and likely chances of you being a fresher getting interview calls would be more. But if your year of pass out is lesser, then the chances will be lesser. But still there are good amount of testing opportunities coming in. Okay, and whatever we cover in this course would be enough for you to showcase yourself as a person who is having at least 2 years of experience. Okay, so it is not about like showing you so many PPTs and making you like go through so many sessions. It would be like interacting with you. So you also have to cooperate. Okay, it is like you have to cooperate back. You have to communicate. So I will be giving you exercises. I will be giving you sort of like assignments so as to get you into speed. Okay, so the second sort of thing that comes into the mind of people who are attending this course is like there are would be people like who is having experience in manual testing, but they would not have got any opportunities to learn it properly. So because of different reasons, they would not have got enough opportunities to learn it properly. So you would be having experience in other sector within IT or something else, but you want to showcase it as manual testing experience. So that are other set of people who really making use of this course. For them also, there are certain things they should know. So one is like how a 2 year experienced person will behave in an industry, like how they will come with a effort estimation, how do they evaluate their work, how do they write the test cases, defect report, what all tools they have used. So many things will come into picture. Okay, so that is also kept in mind while preparing this course. Okay, and there are people who really want to go through ISTQB and clear it as well. So the course content having 90 percentage of the ISTQB topics covered. So when it comes to ISTQB, that is also a certification done from International Software Testing Qualifications Board. So what they do is like they'll issue certificate from the fundamentals of testing. So if you go through their course, there is also Indian board for that. There is also board for each regions. Like if you go look at America, Europe, UK, you can see boards available for all these regions as well. But all the course content is same for foundation level, and whatever we have this in this course also covers the ISTQB topics as well. So likely chances of you clearing the ISTQB is also more. Okay, that's another thing. And the last thing is like see, if you want to grow successful, if you want to become successful as a professional, there are certain things that you should have within you. So we'll try to get those things also in you. So along with testing, these are also very important, because for us, the people who are attending this course should be able to get job, and also they should be excel in their career. So that is also an objective. So that's why I'm explaining in detail. Okay, so I can see that Aruna, you raised the hand. Yeah, if you have some question, just ask.
Sorry for the interruption. The thing is, ISTQB is it a tool or what?
ISTQB is a organization who who runs examinations, and they give certifications for testing.
First, is it?
Okay.
I mean, it's related to manual and automation.
it have many testing courses. They have so many testing certifications. Manual is there, automation is there. So what they do is like they have examinations happening. So you
Mhm.
can schedule the exam. You can go to any examination center and attend it. So once you attend and clear the exam, they will give you a certification that you are, say for example, it starts with foundation level tester course. Okay, so they will give a certification that you have passed foundation level. So what happens is like if you want to clear ISTQB, you have to get a trainer, you have to get trained, or you can also self learn. But you have to schedule the examination irrespective of how you learn it. You have to schedule the exam and you have to attend it and you have to get a certificate.
Okay. What are the benefits I will get if I clear that ISDQB?
I would say like one benefit is like it is a good thing to get added in your resume, telling that you have cleared ISTQB means it is showing that you know the fundamentals of testing. So that is one good thing that you will get out of it. Second thing is like at times to filter out the candidates, recruiters, what they do is like they will see if you have ISTQB testing experience or you whether you have gone through any courses, testing courses. They will try to filter you using this aspects. Some recruiters. So that is the second thing. Third thing is like if you, when you attend the exam and when you go through it, you will have also will get some knowledge about it. Okay, so that you will have some clarity regarding the concepts because anyway if you attend the exam you will get some clarity, right? So that is also one good thing, but I won't say that ISTQB is essential to get a job in testing, but it is a good thing if you can get it.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So that is other thing. So overall, like see, testing or any profession that you choose, you will get so much of benefits in your personal life as well as in your professional life. Okay. So these all are the course objectives, and also I would require all your cooperation as well if you want to make this successful. Okay. So that is also one other thing. Okay. Now moving to the next slide. So Aruna, did you raise your hand? No, right? Okay. I
No.
just okay. Okay, so first of all, let's try to understand what is software testing. Okay, so one more thing that I would like to add is like we will have mock interview sessions as well as like, right. I will make you write emails and send to me as well, so that you all will know different aspect of working as a professional. Okay, it's not about doing testing, but also much more things as well. Okay, so let's try to understand like what is software testing means. Okay, so when I say software, it means like anything that we can't touch and sense using our sense organs, but it can be like something that we can make use of and we can see. Okay, that is a software called, and we will understand like what are the different types of software and how to test it, all those things we will cover. But understand like whenever we go for a software testing, the first thing is like we want to check whether the actual software matches the expected requirements. So everybody will have requirement, right? A customer will be also having their own requirements. Say for example, if you go to Cowin portal, Cowin means the vaccination portal where we will go and get schedule our vaccinations, right? When government of India built such a website, they had a intention behind it, right? So that is like matching the expectation. So if you want to test it, we should know understand like the what are the requirements of it. So even if you would be using Facebook, see, we are using GoToMeeting now, you all are using GoToMeeting. So what is the objective behind this? See, we have should be able to run the meeting, you should be able to attend it, we should be able to record it. So many requirements are there, right? So all these are the requirements whenever someone build a software. So one of the important aspect of software testing is to check whether the actual software matches the requirement. Second thing is like the software should be defect free. Okay, it should not have any defects. Then identifying the errors, if there are missing requirements, gaps, all those things we have to identify. So all the first 3 points are one or other way connected. The fourth thing is like if you are having some suggestions to improve the software, that can be also given. So as a software tester, one is like whether you are able to identify the gaps, missing requirements, and defects, and bring it up to the stakeholders or developers. That would be one aspect. Other thing it would be like whether you are able to give good suggestions to improve the software. That would be also one thing. Then the usability of the application. What do you mean by usability? Say for example, if we use an application, it should be user friendly and you should be able to use it very smoothly, right? So that is another aspect that always used to get tested. And the last thing is like look and feel. Obviously the software we develop should look good, okay, in different aspects. For that also different things are there, like how it looks good, then how it, whether it can be used by people having color blindness, whether it can be used by people having some sort of disability. So all those things are tested in the as part of testing a software. Okay, so software testing as a all means having all this and many more things as well. So in a very nutshell, these are the things that we use to look at it. Okay, and there are also different techniques for testing a software. So we have to learn and understand all that in order to become a good software tester. So moving to the next slide, why software testing is important. So see, I would tell you like any application that nowadays built or developed in a serious note will go for software testing for sure. Otherwise, the impact will be very huge. So if you look at anywhere in any sort of application, if it is not tested, it will be very clearly not like the application is not tested, and there will be a lot of issues as well. So if I have to list, there will be n number of instances that is happening every day for different software issues that are happening. So software testing and quality assurance is something that will ensure that these sort of issues are not happening. So you would have heard about the car maker Tesla. So Tesla has like recalled their so many vehicles because of a software issue. So they are like all the US model cars were having issue when they raise the window. So when the automatic window is raised, there were issues. Okay, and also in 2017 and 2022, whichever models they manufacture, they have to call all them back because the collision used to happen whenever the autonomous mode is enabled. So many things happened with Tesla, and they have lost like almost 1.1 million dollar because of the same. And same like if you look at the Coinberry, who is like having Bitcoin, you would have all about Bitcoin. So they used to have a Bitcoin platform, and they lost like almost $3 million because of the issue where like their platform was having some defects, and that cost them like millions of rupees. So if you look at internet, if you search for, you would find so many instances of why this software testing is important. Okay, so there are many more instances like why it is very important in our daily life. Also it is very important. See, even I we've discussed about different softwares or applications like this GoToMeeting itself, or maybe like the Cowin portal, or like the Facebook. Everything, if you take, if there are any defect with that, say for example, if Facebook is having a issue wherein like anybody can crack your password and someone can log in, just think about the impact of it. So every software, whether the functionality is small or big, it has to be thoroughly tested and the quality has to be ensured. So software testing is very important, and any as long as the development is there, testing would be there. As long as the requirements are there, testing would be there. There is no doubt in that. Okay, so we will try to understand about different aspects of testing, different techniques in that, and also different pillars in testing as we progress. Okay, so moving to the next slide. So what are the aspects of a good software tester? So these are the different. See, when we run this course for manual testing, as I mentioned, like it can be only like showing some slides and training you. It should be having some sort of communication happening between us, and you guys should also show some passion towards becoming a good software tester. Okay, and also there are technical skills that needs to be like nurturing you. So that will happen like as we continue with this course, you will learn more things and you will have all the technical capabilities. Another thing is like analytical skills. Analytical skills means there would be many things that you have to club it together so as to come to a conclusion. Okay, so the application that you would be testing would be having different aspects, and you have to bring it all together to test it. So analytical skills are important. Attitude is important. See, if you want to work in an IT industry, attitude is one of the biggest thing. Okay, without any doubt we can tell that you should have good attitude. Okay, attitude, when I say like you should have a strong urge to learn more things, you should be a self learner as well, and also you should be ready to work harder to get the to meet the expectations. So attitude is very very important. Other thing is productivity. Productivity means what you were able to do in a limited time period, or like how much you were able to deliver is also very important. So these are the key aspects of a good software tester. But to simplify it, I will show you a picture. See, as kids, we all would have played this, right? Where like we will compare two images and try to identify the differences between the images. So the one or other way, when we speak about software testing, we have it in us, like as an inbuilt talent. We all have an aspect of software testing. So like you compare things, like you try to identify what is the difference. Okay, and like you anytime whenever you want something, say for example, if you want to buy something, what you would do is like you will think what is the requirement of it, right? So same thought process is happening through all of us every day, and a part of software testing is already within us. Okay, so half work is already done. That is one important thing about when it comes to software testing. And other thing is like you will also refine yourself. So your thought process, how you look at things, everything will also get eventually changed, because when you become a good tester, what happens is like when you look at each and every aspect of things, you would also think in different ways. What are the different possibilities? Why I have to do it? What is the requirement of doing it? Like that you will also start thinking. So so it is also personally changing you, only not only about making money or having a job. So it is also about personally changing you. Okay, so that's one other thing that I would like to share with you. Okay, and next thing is like about the career path. Okay, so before we dive deeper into software testing and the aspects of it, I'm just giving you an overview regarding all these things, so that you would know what you can aim for, whether it is good for you, whether it is something that you are looking for. You can even ask me questions so that I can also clarify if you have any doubts. Okay, so most people will start as a manual tester. Then one thing that comes to everyone's mind is like, what happens next once after I start my career as a manual tester? What would be next? Okay, then there are different ways by which you can continue your career. One is like you can focus on the technical aspects and you can become a technical person. Other thing is like you can become a people person, like you can manage people, you can organize testers, you can do like that. So managing and technical aspect are both things. Some people used to have both and they used to grow like that. Some people will concentrate in each one of this and grow. So like that it happens. So basically what I used to see is like everybody will start as a manual tester, then they will move to some sort of senior consultant when they are having 3 years of experience. Then once they get to know, understand about testing as well as different aspect of development itself, they will grow as a test lead. At the point of becoming test lead, they will be able to manage multiple people, like 2 or 3 people will be reporting under them. Maybe for manual testing there would be a lead, automation there would be a lead, and people would be working under these people and along with these test leads. Then what happens is like, as I told, there are two aspects. One is like you can go to core technical area where you will architect testing itself and move as a technical person. Then you will become a test architect, or you can manage people, continue managing people, continue organizing testing activities and all those things. Then you become a test manager. So like that you can, then what happens is like you will eventually you can become a director or head of QA department or testing department. So that is how it goes. And then then that is a layer. Then after that, what happens is like you can move to any other roles and levels as well. Also, when you are in software testing, one important thing is like you will understand and learn so many things. It's not about learning a single application or learning about a single technology. It is about understanding and testing so many different types of applications, and you will have different potential and different understanding about so many other things as well. So that is also one good thing about being a software tester. Okay, so before I so these are like the basic things I thought of communicating with you as like aspirants or learning more about software testing. These all things should be in your mind, and so that I thought of communicating with you. Okay, so next is like we will start slowly with our course content as such. And what I will do is like I will start from the basics, so you would be also knowing all these basics, but there might be people who even don't know those basics as well. So we want to communicate such a way that it is understandable for everybody who is attending this course. Okay, so I will start from the bare minimum basics that we should be understanding, and from there we will build every day. We will build more things on top of it. Okay, so next would be like uh, I will be like taking you through what are the different operating systems and what are the different applications available, and then from there we will have the other aspects of testing also covered. Okay, so as you all know, there is something called operating system. Okay, so what is an operating system? It is like once we open our laptops or desktops, and when we switch on the machine, there is something that boots and comes. Okay, that will help us to run all other programs as well. So that is an operating system. So why we need an operating system? Because the way we communicate with a machine is not understandable to it. The machines can only understand ones and zeros, right? So if you want to communicate something in your language to machine, someone has to convert it into the way the machine can understand. And the operating system in one way helps us for that, and also it holds all the applications. Like say for example, this is a GoToMeeting application, then there will be Gmail application, then there will be Notepad. So many applications are there in our machines, right? So the operating system will hold these machines as well. So there are like different manufacturers or vendors who provide this operating system. The most prominent one is, as you all know, it is like Windows. Okay, Microsoft Windows. So there are laptops like HP, then Lenovo, Acer. So in all these laptops, you can see mostly they will be loaded with Windows, or there will be Linux operating system. Okay, and the other operating system is that comes from Apple. So you know the Apple is the company who manufactures operating system called as Mac OS. Okay, so Apple is shipped with Mac OS, so that is other operating system that comes into picture. So the operating system that are available are like Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Okay, so why I am telling this is like tomorrow when I say Mac OS, you should not get confused like what I am talking about. So that's why maybe like very basic that you all know, but still I want to clarify this with you. The second thing is like when it comes to mobile devices, there are different OS available there as well. One is Android, the other one is iOS. So if you look at iPhone, it comes with iOS. Again from Apple, there is something called iPhone. Okay, and that comes with iOS as the operating system. And if you look at other mobile devices, mostly like Samsung devices, Motorola, Realme, Redmi, all those comes with Android OS. So you would think that this is a very simple thing, but it is also very important because even in the interviews, they will ask you like which are the different operating system that you have worked with, what are the different mobile OS that you have worked with. The most of the mobile applications are developed so that it has to work either in and Apple iOS or in Android devices. Okay, so what are the latest versions of it? So Microsoft Windows, you would be knowing like the 11th edition is available. For Mac OS, Ventura 13 is available. For Linux, it is having different flavors like Ubuntu is there, then Kali Linux is there, so many are there. Okay, and when it comes to Google, sorry, mobile Android OS, it is like the latest version is, I think the 13th version is there. Okay, and when it comes to Apple iOS, 16.16 is the 16.3 is the latest version. So likewise, all these things should be familiar. See, if you want to represent yourself as a knowledgeable person, you should have understanding about what is happening in the industry. Okay, so that's why I'm explaining all this. So whenever you comes into testing, almost all applications developed will be has to either work in any of these platforms. Okay, so when someone asks you like which is the platform you have worked, you should have some knowledge. Okay, these are the different platform available, and as part of our this testing course also, we will test our applications in different platforms so as to understand it. Okay, now coming to type of apps. So similar to there are different operating system, there are also different types of apps also. So why I am telling is this: there is something called web application or websites that you already know. So for example, if you open up Google and you try to access Facebook using Google Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer, then you are accessing a website. So what is a website and how it works, we will try to understand later. But understand that there is something called a website or a web application that we may have to test. Even the one COVID portal or the vaccination portal that I talked about is also a web application. There are many other web applications also available. Okay, same way the application that you install and use in your mobile or desktop device are like utilities or native applications. Native means it is native to that particular operating system. Okay, so that are like Telegram application is an example, WhatsApp application is an example. So all these are used within that particular environment or like particular device which is native to that. Okay, so whenever we test application, it can be either a web or it can be a native application. Web application, what you can observe is that it will work in desktop, like laptops and desktop, as well as in mobile as well, through Google Chrome, Firefox, or any Safari like browsers. You can access it, and you can access it across all the devices. But if it is like utilities or native applications, you can only use it in the defined environment. Like for Mac, there will be some applications available. So for iOS, some applications available. You can't use that in any other platform. Okay, so types of apps are also important. So why I am telling is that when I say website or web application, that means you should get an understanding that that means that application works similar wherever we can connect internet and access it. But when I say native application, it means something that inbuilt or inherent to that particular environment or particular device. Okay, that is the differentiation. So this should be also very clear for you guys. Okay, so this is the bare minimum thing that you should know. Now coming into the software development. So you can see that the applications. So say for example, if you want to go for a wedding, what you will do, you will think through different things, right? You will plan what needs to be done first, when I have to go. Say for example, in coming Sunday you have to go for a wedding. Then you will think that on Sunday, if I want to go, I should wake up at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. and then I have to plan my day. I have to buy gifts like that, and once after the lunch I have to come back to my home, so that you will plan everything, right? Similar way, for anything in software industry as well, there should be something called planning happening. And starting from planning till the time it is released to the customer, it goes through a cycle. Okay, so that is called software development lifecycle, or SDLC. So in the interviews also, they quite often ask you, what is SDLC? What is your understanding about SDLC? So SDLC means it is software development lifecycle. So it is a cycle through which a application goes through when it is planned to it is delivered to the customer. So that is called software development lifecycle, and it also have different stages. As you can see here, there are prominent 5 stages for a SDLC. In the similar way, if you go and search, you would see some differences also in the SDLC, but mostly this is the standard 5 stages in the software development lifecycle. Okay, so it starts with planning. Okay, hello, Rakesh. Okay, I hope by mistake he has unmuted. Okay, so it starts with planning. So what do you mean by planning? Planning means you have to plan how it has to be developed. What is the timeline? Everything has to be there. Designing means what? You will have an architecture designed, and based on that architecture, the application will be developed. And development will be like coding. You know, like developers will sit and code it based on the plan, and they will try to develop an application. So that happens in the third stage. And testing is the stage where we will get involved, like software testers will get involved, where we'll test this code or like application developed by the developer, and we will certify that whether it is having quality or not. So that is the fourth stage. And the fifth one is deployment. Deployment means what? Making it available to the end customer or the client. That is the fifth step. So every software or application has to go through this 5 stages. Okay, so it starts with planning and then it ends up with deployment. So this is the 5 stages that happens for any application development. Okay, now, if I go to the steps again, so as I mentioned, like planning is the phase where like the plan is prepared and given to the developers, testers, everyone. The plan will be available for everyone to understand what is planned and how the application will be developed. And this will be a model will be also selected. So a software development lifecycle model will be selected. So we will understand what are the different SDLC models and how the testing happens in each one of the model. We will understand and learn about it later, but understand that a model will be chosen, like how to develop it, like in what frequencies we have to do the development, everything will be chosen. Other thing is like designing. As I mentioned, it will have the architecture to be followed, the data, how to get the data, everything will be there, everything will be defined. That will be the next step. And then the development happens. Okay, the program will be generated and the testing happens, and finally the testing, what will be done is like the defect report will be prepared, testing would be done, bugs will be identified, and then finally the deployment, that is giving to the end customer, will happen. So we will understand like about each and everything we are discussing here, but in a generic way, understand that these are the 5 steps that getting followed in the development of a software. Okay, similar way, there is something called STLC as well. So STLC means software testing lifecycle. Okay, so similar to software development lifecycle, there is something called software testing lifecycle as well. So what does that mean? So it means similar to we plan and develop an application. When it comes to testing also, we have to plan a flow. Okay, so and based on that cycle only, we will be also doing the testing. So it starts with requirement analysis. Okay, so there are like 5 steps for software testing lifecycle as well. So what do you mean by requirement analysis? Requirement analysis means understanding what is the customer requirement. See for example, if we develop a application or software and if it is not meeting the customer requirement, then there is no use. So how well the application is working or how beneficial it is to the customer, there is no point, right? It should fit for the need of the customer as per their requirement. Say for example, if this GoToMeeting application, we should be able to conduct the meeting, we should be able to raise our questions. Okay, so many things we have to do, right? So that is the requirement. So understanding the requirements is the first part of a software testing lifecycle. Second thing is like planning. Okay, planning means how to do this testing. Okay, so once you understand the requirements, you have to think through how this requirements needs to be tested, then how the test case has to be developed. So test case means it's a set of things that we write in order to evaluate the uh, application or software. So say for example, we get an application, then we will create test cases in order to validate how well it is working. Okay, so we will also cover how to write test cases and all those things, but understand that test case development is the third step. The fourth step is like after preparing these test cases, we will execute it. Execute means we will test it. So actual testing happens in the fourth stage. Okay, and the last stage is like reporting. We will prepare reports and we will give a closure report to the stakeholder. So that is the last step. So all these 5 steps are very important, and we will be going in detail through each one of them and to see like how what a software tester has to do in each one of these steps. Okay, so that we will cover in detail, but understand this is called STLC. So we quite often what happens is like when you go for an interview, the first question that you will interfere with will be what is SDLC or STLC. Okay, so either it will be called software development lifecycle, they will ask you what it is, or software test lifecycle, they will ask what it means. Okay, so you should have an understanding about it. Now the same thing I have written down for your understanding. So as I mentioned, like requirement analysis is the first step where like testers analyze the requirements and clarify their doubts. So they will ask questions, what is this for, like they will ask so many questions, and then they will do the planning. So in the planning they will ask questions like what to do, when to do, how to do, and where to do, and like that all the questions will be answered in the test planning phase. So someone looking at the test plan, they will understand like, okay, what is this tester going to do, what are the risks they have identified, what are the challenges that can come while testing, all those things will be covered. Then the test case development will happen, so that where we will prepare test cases based on the requirements, and we will submit our reviews as well. Then there will be test execution. So the prepared test cases will be executed and the defects will be raised from the our end. Okay, testers end. So that is the test execution. The last stage is reporting and closure. So we will give the results, whatever results we have found, we will give to the stakeholders, okay, or to the client, and we will close the testing. So that is the last step. So this is the steps in SDLC and STLC. So now the last topic that we are going to discuss today is about what is error, defect, and failure. Okay, so before we go through this diagram, what we can try to understand what is an error. Okay, so error is a problem in a code. Okay, it can come because of various reasons. One is might be the lack of understanding of the developer, or it can be due to misunderstanding of the requirements, or it can be like the requirements are not defined properly. Because of so many things, an error can happen. So when once an error happens, that leads to a bug or a defect. Okay, so the bug means it's a outcome of a programming error, and you would have heard about something called bug, right? Bug is like it can be an insect, it can cause issues to our body or to plants and animals, right? Similar way, a bug in software industry also is also something where it can create an issue to the software we are developing. Okay, so bug is the outcome of a programming error, and defect is the divergence from the real business need. So whenever there is a divergence from the real business need, that is called as defect. Okay, so bug and defect are almost used in a similar context. So errors can lead to bug or defect. And when the failure will happen, the failure will happen when these bugs or defect are identified by the customer. Okay, so if we as testers miss to find it, if the development team miss to find it, and if it goes till the production, or like when it goes to live or to the end customer, if they find it, then the software becomes a failure. Okay, so this is the difference between what is a error, defect, and a failure. So if we come back to this diagram, you can see that error or mistake can lead to a defect or a bug, and this defect and bug, as testers, we have to identify it during the right time, or what happens is like it will leads to the failure of the system. So if we as testers are not able to identify the defect or bug, it will end up the failure of the application. Okay, so these are the reasons for error, defect, and failure. Okay. Now, now I have also a small quiz that is created. That's very simple that you would be able to answer based on your understanding. But if you have any questions, you can ask now. Yeah, tell me, Manikant. Go ahead. I
My
can see
question
you.
is
Yeah.
yeah, my question is will you guide us how to get the ISTQB certification and what is the cost? So after finishing of this course, definitely we will crack that exam.
See, the core objective of this course is to make you get a job, or to help you to get a job based on the understanding of the software testing. Okay, so
Yes, yes,
ISTQB is not the first objective. It can see, the only thing is like if you want to crack ISTQB and if you want to write it, we can help you to do that. We will cover most of the topics, and if you want to crack it, we can also give you some sort of question papers and answers, so as to help you to clear it. Okay, so that can be done, but the main objective is not cracking the ISTQB, but 90% of the ISTQB syllabus will get covered, because see, practicing for an examination and clearing it is much different than practically understanding something and making use of it, right? So attending the exam and making use of it would be a different thing. That requires so much of effort. It might be boring for others. Say, for example, if I am someone who wants to find a job and I don't want to write ISTQB, it is not mandatory that you should have ISTQB. Beyond everything, ISTQB or certification, the main thing that you should know is like how to test an application. And as a tester, what all things you should be doing. And if you are able to showcase that, that would be good enough. But the ISTQB and all is an add-on to the top of that. So if you clear ISTQB and if you have a certificate, no one is going to give you a job. But if you know how to test and find defects and prepare reports and estimate your efforts, definitely someone will give you a job. So that is the
yes,
difference. So the core objective is to train you manual testing, but you will get also support to for ISTQB as well.
yeah. My my intention is also to get the job only like that. So mainly for that only,
Okay,
and at the same time you have covered one Azure AWS DevOps. So
correct.
cloud also we can do cloud testing also. So you are covering the topics like
Yeah,
cloud testing.
see, what I am covering is Azure DevOps. That is a tool. Okay, so Azure DevOps is
Okay.
a tool that is hosted in cloud that we can use for our testing purpose. Okay,
Okay.
and
So
similar, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. So we can do the cloud testing also. Means can
Yeah.
we mention in resume also cloud testing also?
You can tell that, you can mention in your resume that you have tested cloud-based applications. See,
Okay.
why I am telling is like, see, you as a manual tester, the main objective is to test the application's user interface. Okay, user interface means as an end user, you should be testing the application, and before it reaching to the original customer, you should find all the defects and report it and get it resolved. Okay, that is your core objective. So now, whether the application is hosted in cloud or whether it is hosted in on-premises is not a problem, because when it comes to you, it will be like for an end user how it will be, the same way it will come to you, and you can test it and you can identify the bugs and you can raise it. So it doesn't make much difference whether the application is hosted in cloud or not. But definitely you would be, you can write it like, you have an understanding in testing cloud-based applications. We can cover that as well.
Okay. Thanks.
But what you see as Azure DevOps and Jira are tools which are used in software industry
Yes,
by testers. So
yes,
if you know that, it will be an advantage for you. When in your resume, when the recruiters see that, your chances of getting job is more, and it is good to learn those tools. Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Any
Thank you.
yeah.
Yes.
No problem. Any other questions? Okay. So I believe there are no. Okay. Is there anyone else who raised the hand? Let me see. I think no other one. Okay. So now what? Okay. So I think KK is trying to speak. Yeah. Go ahead. No. Right. Okay. Okay. So now
No,
I
nothing.
have. Sorry.
No, I have nothing to speak. Like
No.
I'm
No.
just listening to you. Yeah.
Okay, okay, no problem. Yeah. So now what we will do is like I will show you few questions and you can try to answer those in the chat. Okay, and we will discuss about that. Okay, so whatever we covered today, based on that, I have put up some questions. So try to answer it. Okay. So the first question is like, what is the role of testing? Okay, so what is the role of testing in SDLC? SDLC means software development lifecycle. Okay, so what is the role of testing in SDLC? So see, if you go for ISTQB and all, they will ask these sort of questions, much more complicated questions also, but this is how they will be doing. But these questions are only to make sure that you are understanding the things. Okay, so you can type in your answers in the chat, whether it is A, B, C, D. Just type in the chat and we will answer it. Okay. Just try it out, guys. Even if you give a wrong answer, it is fine. This is the way you learn it. So just type in the answers and yeah. So KK has mentioned A and B. We will be only having one answer. Think in that way. Okay. If we only have one answer, try to answer it. Okay. Manikanda is mentioned B. Okay. Okay. KK mentioned A. Okay. Aruna, do you want to answer? Okay, yeah, okay, so we can see so no worries guys, even if you are not able to answer it or you make mistake, it's also fine. See, it is a bit confusing question also, because if you see here, what is the role of testing SDLC to ensure that the software product is error free? It can be also an answer, but the most appropriate answer is to verify that the software product meets the specified requirements. So there might be applications which are having errors, but still if it is meeting the requirement of the customer, that is the first objective. So always understand that the first objective of software testing is to ensure that it is meeting the requirements of the customer. Okay, so anytime anybody asks you, or even if you go for an interview, if someone asks you like, what is the objective of testing, why you are doing testing, if someone asks you, the first thing that should come from your mouth should be like, to check whether the customer requirements are met or not. That itself shows that how much understanding you are having about software testing. Okay, so that is very important. So the most appropriate answer is B, but still the other things, the option A is also partially right, but it is not completely. Okay, now the next question, what is the first step in software development lifecycle? Can you try to answer? In the software development lifecycle, what is the first step? Try to answer it. Yeah, so I can see someone named as Veera as well, so I don't know, like that person didn't speak it so far. So if you just want to try, just go for that. Okay. Yeah. So see, every question, if you see in the software testing or development sort of questions that comes, what you have to answer is like, you have to answer based on the question. Okay. So even if you go for ISTQB, that is the same thing. But the first thing that I mentioned is regarding planning. But I can see that KK also mentioned that actually it should be requirement gathering. It is also correct. See, anytime what happens is like, the first thing to do is requirement gathering, whether it is software testing or development. But as a standard, when we say planning, it includes that as well, gathering the requirements, understanding the requirement, that also. So if you get 5 options out of which you would see planning as the first thing, then that is the obvious answer. But the requirement gathering can include in planning as well. And so these are all, see guys, these are all not standard, that we can't tell that like this is the standard or something. But as an overall thing, understand that it starts from the planning or like requirement gathering. Okay, so the next thing we will go is like error, defects and failures. So this is the last question. So what is the impact of errors, defects and failures in software testing? Can you try to answer? Okay, I don't know, do you want to try? Yeah. Okay. Right. So I think all of you answered it correctly. So that is the what is the impact? If you see the impact of errors, defects, and failures, the thing is like one is like they can cause the software to work incorrectly. Then it can lead to user dissatisfaction. Then can cause the software to crash as well. So all those can happen because of this. So that is the most appropriate answer. Okay. So these are the 3 small questions also that I have planned for today. The session for today is like to give you an overview regarding the course and how it would be. But maybe like starting from tomorrow, we can have more interactions and we will go in depth to the testing and we will start with all our activities. So one more thing that I would like to request to you all is like, if you can, so this is one approach by which only you can learn. Just try to give a write-up regarding why you enrolled in this course. Okay, so you can email your maybe like a short description you can write regarding like why you want to enroll in this course or what is your objective of attending this course. Just give a brief about it so that I can also understand it more. So also it's to start with the communication. Okay, so that if from that I can understand like how much you know to compose a mail, whether you are writing professional mails or not, whether you are following all the things when you send out a mail. Those sort of things also I can ensure. So that's why I'm telling you to interact with me, so that I can ensure that you know you will become a software tester in all the aspects, not only learning what is software testing, but in all the aspects. Okay, so I'm just putting this in the chat, the email ID. So just make a note of it and try to send me like a short answer or like short brief me like what why you want to get enrolled in this course or what you are trying to understand about software testing. Okay, so that all for today, guys. Yeah, I don't know. I think you raised your hand. Yeah, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, thank you for motivation in the software side. You're giving us a very clash. And I have a question. So can I call you as a sir?
Yeah, even if you call me Vivek, is also fine. It never matters for me. Whatever you want, you can call. No problem.
Yeah, thank you, sir. The thing is, actually, I'm learning not through videos. I'm learning load runner. I don't know is this relevant to the course or not. Just, but I want to know. So that's why I'm asking you. So don't take into the end way. I'm learning load runner through the videos. But the thing is, I'm facing the issues. How to download the load runner tool? I tried 2 or 3 ways, but those are not working actually. So, do you have
Okay.
any idea how
Eh,
to?
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, see, this course is purely about manual testing. It's not about see load runner and all will get covered in performance testing. Okay, so the performance testing is if you want to understand about performance testing, that is where like you have to learn through the load runner and how it works and all those things. So if you want to learn that, you can like go through the tutorial. But as a beginner, right, even if you try to learn load runner and you apply for jobs, the chances are very rare that you get it, because performance testing is something that you should learn through industrial practice, not through any videos or anything. But still you can do it. Learning something is never going to fail you anyway, so you can learn it. So if you are facing issues with load runner, downloading and installing load runner, one good thing that you can do is like if you connect with the either Anita or with anybody else from Isha, they have like groups where like all the professionals who will be answering your questions. Okay, so tell them to enroll in you any of that WhatsApp group, so you can directly ask your question there, so someone from that group will answer you. Okay, so there are professionals who will be helping you. There are discussion groups there, so just tell them to enroll you in that group, and it will get cleared. Or what you can do is like you can just get any of the Isha trainers itself to get support of it. Okay, so that would be the way we can proceed, because this is out of scope for this training, and maybe like for the interest of time of everyone, we may not be able to cover it. Okay.
Yeah, okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So you can try it out. In case if you are not able to, even if after reaching out to Isha, also you are not able to do it, just bring it up sometime later. If we have time, we will just try to see what is the problem. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. So guys, I hope so. This is we will be winding up our session. So thank you very much for being with me for an hour. So thank you guys. Have a good night if you are in India. Bye.
Thank you and good